edition of my broadcast journey. I'm Ronke, Giwa-Onafuwa, and I'm really glad that you came by today. I hope you've watched previous episodes of my broadcast journey. I promise it's actually very interesting. I've got episode 1 to about 6, I think. And yes, consistency is hard if you're a vlogger, but you have to just be consistent. Whatever you need to do, keep doing. No one may be liking or watching or reading, but just continue to do your thing, which is really why I'm just trying to hang in there and do my thing. Also because I feel that this vlog may be ahead of its time, but I think that people who need it will find it, and hopefully it will be very useful for you. So welcome to this edition. It's going to be an interesting one where I'm going to be talking about a few things you should not tell yourself as a broadcaster. Yep, there are a few things you should never tell yourself, or you should never believe. You know when they say you start to believe your hype, broadcasting can do that for you, whereby you're a broadcaster, everyone loves you, you're the rave, you're the trend, you're the person of the moment, and it starts to get to your head. It really is one profession that if you're not grounded and if you haven't got your head straight on, you really can just lose yourself and start to believe certain things that just are not true. Number one thing as a broadcaster or an aspiring broadcaster, you shouldn't go into the industry thinking or telling yourself is that you're the best. I know I've spoken about how young broadcasters come in to the industry and believe that, you know what, you're better than everyone else. You look at everyone and you just think, they're no competition to me. I'm just going to get in here and everyone's just going to love me. Apart from the fact that yes, you can actually get in there, people can love you, but I don't think you can be the best. I don't know if there's anyone, yes, we have awards that tell people that they're best. I've won a few myself and I'm very grateful to them, but I don't think I sit down and think I am the best. It's just like how you can't find the most beautiful person in the world or most beautiful girl in the world. There's always someone who's more beautiful, if you know what I mean. Or there's always another guy that's more handsome than the last guy. Just the same as a broadcaster, you should never sit down and think, I am the best, no one's better than me. And I get it, we all have to have confidence as broadcasters. It is a key component of being a broadcaster. If you're not confident, if you don't believe in yourself, who will? So you really do have to be confident. But your confidence must be balanced and must have sense. When you sit down and start thinking, I'm the best, it's like getting high on your own supply, and it's definitely not good for your career. It starts to get in your head, you get derailed, and it just goes downhill from there. So be able to separate having confidence and just looking down everybody else and thinking, I am better than everybody else, I am the best. Imagine thinking that way. That is very narcissistic. But yes, don't do that to yourself and don't do that to your career. You can be great and you can be amazing and you can be yourself and just be, and everyone can love you, but don't start your career out, or don't, get to the point where you start to feel like I'm the best, I'm better than everybody else. Number 2 thing, on the other hand, you shouldn't tell yourself is I suck. I know sometimes in your career as a broadcaster, you may be the most confident person, but there are just some days where you just feel like, there are days when you finish your show and you're not very proud of how you've done. Perhaps you didn't put in enough work or you didn't prep enough, but you just tell yourself, I didn't do a great job. You have to be able to balance giving yourself constructive criticism and being harsh on yourself in a way that it starts to destroy your self-esteem. Like I said, you have to have confidence as a broadcaster. But when you get to the stage where you're knocking yourself, or the people around you are constantly knocking you and making you feel like you suck, and you start to believe that, it's not a good place to be. It's not a good thing at all. So yes, on the other hand, you don't want to be on some pedestal telling yourself you're the best. Still, you don't want to be that person who's constantly telling yourself you suck, you're horrible, or constantly hearing that. If you're constantly hearing that, move away from those people who are telling you that. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, but if criticism is destructive, destroying your self-esteem, it is not okay. So do not tell yourself that as a broadcaster. Number 3 thing, I think everyone as a broadcaster, young broadcaster, you start to think this. I'm irreplaceable. Like, everyone loves me on the morning show, so nobody can replace me. Or I've been on the lunch break, like on this belt, the evening belt, for 8 years. I'm irreplaceable. That's one thing you don't want to tell yourself, because dude, if God forbid you die tomorrow, they would replace you in 2 seconds. And even if you didn't die, if your organization has an issue with you, or you've gotten to the stage where you're just not pulling your weight on your belt, you can be replaced. Everybody can be replaced. Anybody can be replaced. And the worst thing you want to do to yourself is think you are irreplaceable. Some people tell themselves, when I leave this station, this station will fail. In fact, nobody will listen to that station anymore. That's an absolute fallacy. There are stations that we've had big wigs, big names that have even sort of overshadowed the name of the radio station. But yeah, once they left, the station maybe struggled a bit, but they will be fine. They're a money-making venture. It's a business. It will survive without you. It survived before you. It will survive without you. So please do not tell yourself you're irreplaceable. Don't tell yourself that, oh, if I leave this station, I mean, whenever they talk about this station, they think about me. If I leave, I mean, it's the end for them. That's absolutely not true. And I think that quite a number of broadcasters tell themselves that, and then they shoot themselves in the foot. When they do leave, they realize that the radio station still thrives. So please realize that you are not the radio station. You're just a brand in the radio station. And that's why it's important not to tie your destiny to one organization. Have your own plan outside of what you do. Have your own life. Have your own brand outside of the radio station. So even when you do leave, you can survive. There are other things you can do. And as they are fine, so will you. The fourth one is similar to the previous one. Number 4 is don't feel entitled to a belt. Don't feel entitled to a show or a belt. You've been doing a show for the past 20 or 100 years. Doesn't mean they can't move you to another belt. Really, you don't want to feel entitled and start feeling like, oh no, I can't do a night shift. I mean, I'm glad that, when I started broadcasting, I was able to sort of move around a little. I did the night shift for a while. I sat in with, people on different belts, the morning, afternoon, evening. You get a sense of what you like more, but then also you must tell yourself not to feel too entitled or not to feel like, oh no, I'm a morning person, so I can't do afternoon, or I can't do evening, or I can't do night. There are people who are doing night shifts and they are pulling huge numbers. I'm sure a few people come to mind when you think about that. So don't feel superior because you're doing the morning, or don't feel inferior when they take you from the morning somewhere else. And at some point in my career, I suffered that. I started feeling entitled, to a particular belt. I started feeling like, no, you can't move me. You can't move me. I'll be movable. But that's not true. I had to tell myself, this is not your father's station. This is not your business. So whatever they feel, or your head of programs feel you fit in, and they're doing it not maliciously. Sometimes some employers, can become malicious and feel like, oh, so you're sitting on a high horse thinking you're on the morning belt. I'm going to move you somewhere just to, cut you down a peg or two. No, it doesn't have to be malicious. There are certain times that you can just swap just to get a sense of whether you might even be better off on the evening more than the morning. Don't feel entitled to a belt. Don't feel entitled to your job. Don't feel entitled to a show. It's definitely somewhere I have come to, and is a place of peace. That I am not entitled to be on a particular belt. I'm not entitled to even work in any particular place. I can go and everybody will be all right. Finally, the last thing you don't want to tell yourself as a broadcaster, number 5, no one can tell me what to do. And I think that a lot of the things on this list really do come from a place of pride, where you start to feel like, yes, I'm all that and a bag of chips. So yes, you can't move me from this belt, or, oh yes, I don't know, I'm the best, or, or I'm irreplaceable. Same thing, it's a place of pride that would make you say, no one can tell me what to do. But no matter how big you get in your career, you have to still have a mentor somewhat. Yes, you get big and it feels like, oh, they can wake you up in the morning and you can do your show, but still you have to still keep learning. Saying no one can tell you what to do is like not learning anymore. If you're not learning, you're stagnant. It's important as a broadcaster to continue to learn. In fact, learn, unlearn, and relearn, because as we go on in our career, we start to learn some bad habits as well, some unprofessional things. So you have to always constantly remind yourself to unlearn those things so that you can evolve. And that's why you find some people who are still broadcasters for years, 20 years, and they're still relevant. It's because they have been able to evolve, relearn, unlearn, not say this is how I've always done it and nobody can tell me how to do it and nobody can tell me to do it differently. But no, it's okay to do it differently. It's okay to be different. It's okay to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I have been doing this show for the past 6 years. How can I do it differently? How can I do it better? Because people are coming to the industry every second. Every second. So if you're not evolving, you're going to be pushed out of the way. So do not tell yourself no one can tell you what to do. You must be able to still get counsel, get guidance, listen to other people and see how you can get better. Because the worst thing you want to do is stay stagnant, because then you're just going to be pushed out immediately. All right, so if you have anything else that you think we need to add to this list, anything you feel that you shouldn't tell yourself, and I think this list actually can help you in whatever career you find yourself. You don't want to work in an organization where you start to feel like, hey, you will be humbled. You will be humbled. And you know what? The thing about being humbled as a broadcaster is that they humble you. It's embarrassing. It's public. So let's say, for example, you're taking down a peg or two. Your listeners can tell that, oh, you're no longer here, or you've moved, and then it's really humbling, and it's a public kind of humbling, as opposed to I work in an organization. If I'm not there anymore, nobody knows except maybe my colleagues. But on radio, people know that you've left, or people hear that, oh, they fired you or something like that. So it's important to humble yourself before you are humbled. If you know anything else you should add to this list that can help anyone who's aspiring to be a broadcaster, you can leave it in the comment section right after you click on the subscribe button if you haven't, or after you like the video as well. You can also share this video with your community. Perhaps there's somebody who's an aspiring broadcaster in your community, and they'll find this video useful. I would appreciate that. Until next time, when I come back with another helpful, hopefully, episode of my broadcast journey, you have a fantastic time. I am Ronke Giwa-Onafuwa.